But it became very popular during that time because I think people had got a bit burned out just by doing that on its own. So, okay, so you're on two ends of the seesaw. You've got really alpha practice, and then you've got the very yin practice. And those are two ends of the seesaw. But I've tried to make my classes more in the middle of the seesaw. So you don't have those two extremes. Like, let's, kill ourselves one day and then completely soften the other. Well, why not try and have all the classes have both of those? And, Ashtanga does. I mean, it has on the floor. I mean, it really was very tempting to just go, oh my God, I'm just going to do that. It's going to save me RSI in both my hands. I've been writing my manuals for 5 years, 6 years, constantly, every single month, there's writing that goes on day after day. I could have saved myself a lot of trouble, but as I said, I just didn't feel I could. I want to work with injuries. That's my thing. I love when, I loved the challenge of working with people who are injured. So I wanted the freedom to not be told, oh, you can't, do that or change that, or I was done with that. So I think the class I'm most proud of, in a way, obviously the Fierce Grace class I'm very proud of, and the Deep Core, but the injury class is, it's many, many years of work trying to find a series that is difficult enough to keep the fit injured person happy, but safe enough for you to bring your dad to, who's got a bad knee, you know what I mean? So I just don't think I'm very good at following other people's instructions. I want to do my own thing.
But from the experience of being with people as well, like if you've had all these years of seeing people practice, and as you were mentioning, like 250,000 students at least that came through your classes, you get to see also what the need is and what's missing. I think you really were spot on with what's missing in yoga, and or like we're only doing one specific thing but then completely not doing the other things, especially I think in a lot of fitness studios. It's very, even what you're saying about the martial arts, like why is there not space for alignment, or like why are we not? Because it's so important also in that.
I mean, they do teach alignment in martial arts, but if you have structurally, like I did, I'm a tall, gangly person, and I've got flattish feet and a completely straight back. I didn't have a lower back curve at all because my mum had taken me to Alexander technique when I was 11.
I know that.
And I got into which is great, but I have been told, tuck your tailbone under and pull your belly in. Well, that was the opposite of what I personally should have been doing, because I have the man body, that sort of very the tight pelvis and the very loose lower back sort of orientation. So I'd been like walking around, like flattening my lower back for like, I don't know, 18 years or something. And then the martial arts I did was really, it was a hardcore one. So jarring my back and feet and knees. It was my fault. It wasn't the martial arts fault my knees went. It was, I probably structurally wasn't ready for kicking 1,000 times a class or something,
No,
so you're right.
I think it's also specific bodies, because like you, I also have a martial arts and boxing background. And I remember, going from boxing into yoga, and I was like, whoa, this is a whole different body that what I was used to. And like you, I was also training every day and like, in on a very hardcore level. And I thought I was so strong. And then I went to a yoga class and I was like, okay, different kind of strength. Got to start from scratch. Okay. All right. I get
every
it.
bit of my body. A lot of, okay, that's tight. That's exactly. My back bend was just probably like 5 degrees, So it is interesting. So, I mean, I think being able to, as you say, teach a lot of people and see internally what they're up to, like the alpha sports people, like they liked it. They love it. You can see them in there, but only wanting to push and go to the next, and never being happy with what's going on in the moment. So I tried. I mean, Fierce Grace, the class itself. I think it has both. Like a vinyasa class does as well. It starts off hard, ends up lovely and soft on the floor. But when you see what the internal struggle people are going through, especially the sporty alphas, they won't give them themselves permission to come out of that ambition thing. They just can't. So having some stretch or slower classes which are still difficult seems to be quite a good way to go with those people, because they're like, okay, I'm on the floor, I'm stretching, and it's quite hard, but also there's nothing really to show off about here or try and be ambitious about, because I'm going to have to be here for a while. I mean, it's all we can do, really. People have their own journeys. The other thing I noticed was that people were coming to when we were Bikram, they were coming and they were also going, oh yeah, I've just come from the gym and I've just come from a run, then I've gone to rock climbing. And I noticed some of my teachers were going, oh, well, they don't need any of that. I'm like, well, they obviously do, because you can't judge people. People know what they like and what feels good. So I felt that I needed a variety of things that were based in the same wisdom, but gave people that difference, you know, the change of pace, like the crazy cardio kind of stuff and the really soft, like relaxing nidra type of stuff, without it being unrelated. So you've got a core set of poses that run through every class. That means that you keep the safety and improvement aspects, but the other poses are different. The energies are different.
And how did you go from, like, as you were saying, like, I was just creating a class that was, you know, kind of had all these elements in it. How do you go from that to actually creating your own method? Like, you got to be a little crazy, right?
I mean,
very
honestly, it took years. We were secretly running classes in my North studio with a core set of teachers and people and experimenting with them. So I started off with, I thought, what can I do? Because I've now got three. No, I meanwhile thought, okay, I'm going to change my series. So I opened a fourth studio secretly, because I had a business partner and I wasn't allowed to do anything else. But we were separating. So we were in that process. So I thought, if that all goes down, at least I'll have one studio and I can open it as Fierce Grace. We were practicing what I thought could be like the perfect class twice a week, and then getting feedback, and then inviting unfit people, inviting heavy people, and inviting people who had injuries, and then inviting athletes and all the rest of it, and getting their feedback. And it very quickly, as I said, it became obvious one class or three even wasn't going to do it. I knew what the advanced class was going to be like. So I wrote Deep Core for myself. And with three studios full of people, all paying their annuals or their monthly, I knew if I was going to, from day to night, to switch everything over, because, you know, I was trying to respect Bikram as my teacher, and his rules are, you know, if you have a Bikram studio, you can't mix other things in. And if you want to do something else, you can't, basically. You've got to end. So I wanted to do that the right way. I wasn't going to bastardize his series. I was going to have to take all the Bikram classes off, tell all my students overnight, basically, you've paid for this, but you're not going to be getting it anymore. So I was trying to come up with a class that would have a similar energy to what people wanted, but move them into a transition class so that the Fierce Grace class wouldn't just go, oh no, I don't like it. So we were working on 3 classes. As I say, Deep Core was for me. So I thought, I'm getting older now. I want to stretch and sometimes lie around and not worry, you know, about what anything looks like. And I didn't think anyone would like it. I thought all the students would hate it and they would just leave. And I was very surprised. I think some of my students and teachers were way ahead of me. They were like, oh, thank God. You know, oh, so nice to do that. I've been waiting for you to do something like that. So I trained up teachers over 4 years of trialing these classes in secret. We didn't charge. We called it something else. Didn't want the rumor mill to start. And then I thought I'd switch one studio over. When I realized I had to switch all 4 at once, I mean, I almost had a nervous breakdown over that 2 years trying to prepare for it, because I honestly thought I'd lose, because even if you lose 30% of your students, you can't pay the rent.
Exactly.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to go down in flames as the big joke, the big yoga joke in London, and lose my studios. And of course, your house is the guarantee on all the rents. And I just, it literally nearly killed me.
Yeah.
But well, it's too late to stop now. Everyone was telling me, don't do it. Just run your 4 successful Bikram studios and just take the money and go and have a nice life. I'm like, no,
but also the bravery in that and the risk you took, but also the risk you took to also serve maybe even a wider audience than you could have with Bikram, because Bikram is very much like, you know, it's in the Bikram bubble kind of way. I mean,
exactly.
I have done one
you're
Bikram class and I hated it. Like I really, and then I saw the documentary and then I was like, okay, done. Okay, I'm done. But it's just not, it's not in my interest. I don't like it. I would never do it. Like, so, but then Fierce Grace, I love, you know, so.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, you know, it's been very, I mean, I don't want to put down my history because, you know, I learned a huge amount from Bikram and the way, I mean, he's actually a very, very good teacher. Things went wrong, obviously, in the last 15 years or so. They really did. But I've known him since 89, you know. But I did learn so much and I wanted to, you know, and I made my living out of it for a very long time. I think there are ways of teaching that that have a bit more elasticity in it than the way that it's sometimes taught in America. But yeah, you're right. I think it is very good for lazy beginners. Get your ass kicked. Go in there and get your ass kicked and get, you know, get things. It's quite simple and it gets people aligned. But as I said, I noticed that it was attracting in my studios really, really hardcore, especially the hardcore teachers. And I thought we had one really hardcore teacher. So you weren't allowed to even go for a wee. You know, he would follow you out into the toilet with a microphone on and make you come back. But, you know, that would have been amazing for somebody with no motivation. But there was none of those people in there because they couldn't handle it. So I went to pick something up at the studio and I noticed literally all these massive muscular alpha pitta in Ayurvedic medicine men coming out there. And I was like, you guys don't need this. You're making yourself more out of balance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tricky to have something that's you know, really hardcore like that. So then I thought, okay, each class has to have something the alphas don't like and something the, you know, the softer, less motivated person. There's got to be shit you don't like in the class because you need that stuff. You know, you don't like it when it slows down. You feel your mind going. You know,
and then eventually you got over your nervous breakdown in a sense, like you just went to do it.
Oh my God. Well, I actually ended up in hospital at one point because the stress, because it's actually really expensive to rebrand, rechange and retrain and, you know, do the whole thing. Take down all your Facebook and take down your website and just make everything all brand new from scratch. And very stressful. And but once you started, you're just like, well, look, if I go down in flames, at least I'm going down trying to do my own thing. You know, you know what I mean? I thought, well, I'm going to be a laughing stock. All the people that hate me are going to just be so pleased and just dance around.
Yes, Michelle is gone. Yes.
But I just really wanted to do it. I really wanted to be at a dinner party where someone's husband, who's a bit stiff and never exercised, goes, oh, I'm not flexible enough, to feel comfortable, to come to my studio and have an entry-level class that took all of that into account in a humorous, welcoming way.
Exactly.
And
come to the stiff, old and broken class.
Stiff, old and broken. Everyone's like, you can't call it that.
I love it.
You can't use SOB. You can't say that. I'm like, yes, I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
And I just did.
Because where's the humor gone? Why is everyone so serious about all of this?
Exactly. That's another thing. Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to use my own imagery and expand what I actually had already been using imagery like that for when we were Bikram, you know, different body types and people doing poses really badly. I mean, I find it really offensive actually myself to just see all the beauty side of yoga because it's not beautiful always. Advanced practitioner, beautiful, you know, the pose or whatever, but I find it beautiful to watch, you know, somebody with a steel rod in their spine just breathing through a simple, you know, I mean, I know all yoga teachers do, you know, but it's not put out there in the press enough.
And I think it can be disencouraging and confronting for students too, you know, like when I first started doing my Zoom classes, I sometimes had my boyfriend, you know, as